That'll work.
You do a lot Kevin? You do a lot of guesting on podcasts, don't you?
I do, yeah. I try to.
Do you have your own podcast?
No, I have a friend who's been trying to get me to do one with him for like 2 years now, because we got drunk one night and I said we should do a podcast where we review every dinosaur movie ever made in the order in which they were made.
That is a great fucking idea.
Yeah, it's also horrible because there are like 3 good dinosaur movies.
Oh, yeah.
Fair enough.
If I have to watch Tammy and the T-Rex ever again in my life, I'm going to be miserable.
Well, you would also have to do
watch We're Back.
Yeah. And Land Before Time 1 through 73 or however many of those.
I put my foot down about that when we were talking about it. I was like, we can watch The Land Before Time. We're not watching all 16 sequels.
Yeah.
Is there 16 of them?
I think there are between 14 and 17 of those movies.
That's insane. Yeah, Lorenzo and I met in a line at Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago in Florida, and I just kind of continued pestering him until he relented into doing this project, because we do one episode a week, and there's 125 episodes, so it's like 2.5 years.
Oh, and there are going to be more.
Right. And then we also picked up Star Wars Resistance when that came out. So now we do 2 episodes a week, one of the Clone Wars, one of Resistance. So
are you guys like in a rivalry with the Rebels guys?
No, actually we had them on the show and it was a lot of fun. So
they're all right.
Yeah, they're pretty nice guys.
Is this the episode? Are we doing the show right now?
Sure.
We are not officially, but this can be added in. This is all good background info anyways.
Lorenzo, why don't you kick it off, and then we'll just keep it official from here forward.
Welcome back to These Aren't the Nerds You're Looking For, everybody. Lorenzo Fon sitting here with
Kevin Horde.
And we also have a special guest, Ralph from Cake Boss is with us. Thank you for being here.
That's me.
Yes. Yeah.
I cut you right off. First thing I did this episode was step on somebody else's line. No, that's a good start.
It's all good. It's also weird because, like, we're all on Skype. None of us are in the same physical location, so there's, like, always that weird delay that happens, but...
Oh, yeah.
The magic of...
I was just recording with a bunch of people in Australia last week, and that is... You want to talk about delay.
How do you time that?
Very badly.
You're right. Yeah, like
luckily that show is just a lot of shouting over each other anyway, so
yeah, I listen to a lot of the Minute by Minute podcast, and that's one thing that the guys over at TMNT were talking about, because there's 4 of them, and then whenever they have a guest on, you put that 5th in there, and if you got 2 guests on, that's 6, but that's a lot going on at one time.
Yeah, that is I've done some TMNT Minute, and they're great. I was talking to Scott about possibly talking about Bebop and Rocksteady with them, which is like, it doesn't take much to get me to do that.
Right on.
So, but we're talking about Star Wars, right?
We are.
Yes.
I love Star Wars, man. Captain Picard, that's my shit.
Yeah, you right star, wrong wars, Trek, one of the two.
Yeah, we are warring, not trekking.
There we go.
Also,
beyond.
Right Star, Wrong Wars is going to be the name of my Star Wars podcast.
I dig it. So
is that where you just review every star-related movie, like Galaxy Quest and?
See, now we got something here. You know what though? It's weird. You guys are in a very small niche, because I don't think there are a lot of podcasts about Star Wars. So you've found
yeah.
You found a market that was like a really rich vein to tap.
I was doing some research on some microfiche at my local library, and I just couldn't find any, and I talked to my buddy Lorenzo, and I was like, this is the thing we have to do. I'm gonna get out my wax cylinder and start cranking, sharpen up the needle.
Sure.
And
I found... It's weird that you say that, because did you see that article where they found this old Star Wars podcast from the late 80s that was all on Betamax?
I did not.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Was it
Podcasts
still
have come a long
Caravan
way
of
since-
Caravan of Courage? Is that what that one was called? Or
No, that's the good Ewok movie.
I
No, sorry, that's the crap Ewok movie.
I don't remember
Battle
which
for
is
Endor
which.
is the good one.
I know Mace Windu is in one, or Mace is in one, and there's a witch.
Yeah, Mason. So, the one with the witch is the good one. That one's like Willow, but with Ewoks, and Wilford Brimley for some reason. That movie's amazing. The first Ewok movie is a chore to get through. It's got a lot of narration, and it's sort of a quest, and they really want you to think that the Ewoks are characters, but they aren't. And man, that second one's great. It's like piranha T-Rexes pulling carts and weird zombies. And oh, man.
So the piranha T-Rexes are actually called blurgs, and
I know what they're
we
called.
see them
I just-
in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I knew they were called blurgs, but I'm so used to talking to regular people
Right.
that like you can't just throw out the names of Star Wars
Right.
creatures all the time. I got to get back into nerd headspace. Like when we're talking about this episode, I don't have to say snout camels. I can say Eopies.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so this week we've got an episode called Sphere of Influence. It originally aired season 3, episode 4 on October 1st, 2010. Yeah, this is the
More like Sphere of
53rd
fan service, am I right?
53rd episode of the Clone Wars that we're talking about. So,
Jesus. Yeah.
Lorenzo, you want to hit the fortune cookie and start moving through this stuff?
The fortune cookie is a child stolen is a hope lost.
So,
That's terrible.
it is
Which
terrible.
is, yeah, I had to say that very deliberately because I know I would have tripped up over that because that is a weird sentence. That is a really fucking weird sentence.
I would like to attribute this to no one because I don't feel like anyone would actually say it. But as we do, we're going to force somebody to be the provider of this quote. So do you guys got any thoughts on this?
Is the Jawa het and a kick from the most Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina too obscure a pull?
Not at all.
Yep. Well, that's my vote.
Okay. Lorenzo, what you
I
got?
like it. Just based on this, episode, I was just gonna go with Papa Noida, just because he would be the only one. It doesn't even sound like it'd come from him though. I got nothing. I don't know. This one's weird.
Yeah, I picked the Emperor because I was thinking just like on like a pure evil level, like, like when he steals children, like somebody's hope is lost, so that makes him happy.
Yeah, that's one of those things that he would probably think is like a double meaning, really clever, sinister line, but just sounds like nonsense.
Child
Or it's like-
his hope lost.
But it's like maybe it's like something he would say like publicly and then like turn around and be like, "Go get me more children."
More children. Yeah, because he's got like that. We had some children stolen in the Clone Wars, and he was like trying to turn them into force batteries or something. I
Are
don't
you sure that wasn't the Matrix?
know. It happened on Mustafar
I'm gonna say Jabba the Hutt.
Oh.
because he's
Yeah, Jabba's got a soft heart in addition to his soft
Yeah,
everything else.
has
everything
a
else.
kid for some reason from the very beginning of Clone Wars on.
Right. Like just a full character shift there,
I'm down with Jabba.
Yeah, Jabba's
Yeah.
a good one.
We'll take it.
Creepy, exploitive, crime monster Jabba the Hutt, who
So-
has women in chains and feeds people to a monster under his floor for fun.
But he's got that heart of
Family
gold,
man.
man. He's got that heart of gold. He's there for everybody's entertainment, right?
I
He just wants a safe space for bounty hunters, not maybe for dancers and anybody else, but
Yeah, and he's part of a Daddy's Friends group with George Blucas.
right.
nice.
Yeah, Papa Noida. Which
Is
we'll-
that a
we'll-
subtle joke or what, Papa Noida?
Papa Noidia.
You see, for the fans at home, it's a play on words because it sounds like he's the father of all the nerds.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is terrible.
very clever.
I like that you put on a different nerd voice as you're
Then
on
my normal nerd voice.
I like that you pushed
As
up
you're on
your
this nerd
invisible
show.
nerd glasses.
They're
for-
always sliding down my nose.
for our not viewing audience.
Yeah.
Don't
So
worry, Kevin also always does hand gestures, which I think is funny.
all the time.
He's like, it's about this big. Like, Kevin.
Kevin, are you Italian too?
No, I'm not. Not that I know of. But yeah,
No.
maybe
I'm told that's an Italian thing.
the hand gestures.
The hand.
With your hands.
Yeah.
I'm doing it a lot now, and nobody at home is gonna know.
That's all right.
No.
Well,
The joy of audio podcasts.
I will just describe all of your gesticulating throughout the entire episode, and I'll just keep my comments to that as I'm doing
This
the
is
same
gonna
thing.
This is gonna get dense really quick.
Dense.
We'll
This
just
is
have
gonna
to
be
get
like
a
Jane
fourth.
Austen novel.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, we'll get like a fourth person on to just be a translator for all the hand motions that are happening between the three of us.
Is it
So-
like that new thing that they have on like Blu-ray now, where it's like the do you know what I'm talking about? Like the audio description thing
the
for
audio
the visually
description
impaired.
things? That
I like
is
that
not-
a lot.
it's not new. I've seen it before. The first place I've seen it and the oldest place I've seen it is on the Moulin Rouge DVD from 2001.
I have that DVD and I need to check that out.
I was completely unaware of the existence of this.
Right. So it's weird because Moulin Rouge is like a visual movie.
Yeah,
So
very
then-
much so.
Yeah. So then like you'll have whatever's happening on screen, Christian will narrate, and he'll like start typing in the keyboard, and then like a voice will just come in and goes, Christian starts typing on the keyboard. Like, my lover is dead.
Yeah.
Christian types again.
Yeah, the first time that I saw it was on the Force Awakens Blu-ray, and I was like, "What is this?" I'm hearing impaired because apparently I'm visually impaired too, and I couldn't
visually.
read what the word was. So I played it, and then it was like Star Wars, yellow block letters, fly across a starry sky, fading into the background. Then it like reads the opening crawl, and I was like, "This is fucking awesome."
Do they have someone like of note reading this thing? Like, is there a way to get the gig reading the description of what's going on in movies? Because I'm gonna
Yeah, I
apply for that.
feel like just
I feel like-
audition, get a scissor reel together, like clip all your own voice work together, and then just
What you're gonna
or just do it yourself and just throw it online and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a better
Like
idea.
this for you, blind nerds. Hey, blind nerds, come this way. I don't know how you're clicking on this YouTube webpage.
I don't know that you're supposed to say blind nerds, but yeah, that's way better than what my idea was going to be, and that was just like taking this episode of this podcast and like sending it to every production company out there with just a little tidbit that says, "I want to narrate your movies."
But more than that, I want my dad to do it. Like, just a blue collar construction worker from Brooklyn, just being like, "All right, what's going on here? It's all spaceships. I don't know. Oh, it's Rudy D2. He's in the. What's going on?
I'm not gonna
The guy's
lie.
got the laser swords out. Oh, jeez.
That's gotta
Whoa.
be your podcast, dude. That has to be your podcast.
Just
It's
my
you.
dad narrates movies.
Yeah, just
This
you
is-
and your dad sitting down watching like Avatar. Like pick the weirder ones. Like
Right
there's some
star,
blue people,
wrong wars.
Sure.
right? Like what are these blue people doing? Why are they connecting ponytails? What's happening here?
I don't know if I should be watching this with my son.
Speaking of blue people and suns and
Nice
Papanoidias,
segue.
That is a good transition. That is. Let's get into this episode a little bit,
sure.
and then we'll derail again. So, at the start of this episode, our newsreel. We always start with this newsreel here. The newsreel is basically talking about Pandora. We're setting up the random politics of Pandora. This is a kind of long newsreel as
It's-
Clone Wars
It's
episodes go.
super long.
Right. But
It
it's a
fucking
lot
goes on
of
and
dense
on and on and on
information.
forever.
Yeah, and basically all I got out of it was Pandora's in trouble. So,
Yeah, it took a long time to explain exactly the setup of Phantom Menace.
right.
Like, it's the same premise again.
Blockade. Yeah.
Yep.
Trade
and then-
Federation's blockading a planet.
Yep. And people can't do stuff because of that. Like, great. That's what we got.
So we're
So,
introduced to Chairman Papanoidia, who took over for Chairman Chicho because he died on Orto Plutonia when he was fighting the Orto Plutonians, I guess. The big...
The towels, right?
The towels, there you go. I got
Nice.
blurgs earlier and you got towels. Blurgs and towels. Yeah, after that we cut to the Senate. So the Pantorans are these blue people that we were speaking of. And so basically this episode we got the Phantom Menace on Pandora. And
Blue people on Pandora.
a bunch of people talk about stuff. So Chichu is in the Senate debating with Lot Dodd, right? It really is just
Chu-chi.
kind of
You did this last time too. Chu-chi.
Chuchi. What'd I say? Chicho?
Chichu.
Chichu. I don't know. It becomes even more confusing because we meet some
Oh yeah.
some more Pantorans later.
More blue people who do. One of them does have ponytails. So
That is true.
some long hair of some sort. Yeah.
That's
There's
Chuchi,
a lot of
isn't
interesting hair things happening.
Uh,
One of the daughters also has like ponytails, and then one just goes full.
it's just under a rug.
Right.
it? Yeah, so this is George Lucas's
cousin.
family, right?
Right.
Right.
We've got... Where the fuck did I put it? I don't even
Oh
know.
God, they have terrible names. It's like Chi Imwe or something. It's
Yeah. One is
It's
Chi
Ikwe.
Ikwe. Yeah.
And Che Amandwi. And then Jet Lucas is just Ion. That's his name.
Right.
yeah. I felt like he was cheating.
Yeah. As soon as we got the two daughters' names, though, I'm like, I'm not writing those down. I'm not committing those to
and they're
memory.
not important.
Right.
They're not.
Which is weird. Like, they're the MacGuffin of this episode, basically. Like,
Yeah, so do
We're all
you...
gonna remember Chuchi.
So we've got Chicho, Chuchi, Chi Ikwe, Che Amanwe, and Ion.
Chachi and Joni.
Chachi
right. Yes.
and Joni and
Nobody
Papanoidia.
listening to podcasts is old enough to get that joke.
I
Uh,
don't know if I'd agree with that one.
I don't know if I'd agree it was a joke.
I like how you are burning yourself on that one. Like,
I deserved it.
it's all good. It was there, man. You went for it.
So, Lorenzo, what's the point of all these blue people here at the Senate and beyond? And give me a rough rundown on what's going on so we can talk about the fun stuff.
Right, yeah. Just basically, they're just there to try and discuss what the Trade Federation is doing. Of course, they're denying anything, and they're just like, no, we're not siding with anybody, and blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing separatist. We're, like, whatever. So, as we said, just Phantom Menace in the span of about 2 minutes. Yeah.
And then the girls get kidnapped.
Yeah, the two girls get kidnapped again. Chi Ikwe and Che Amanwe. They get kidnapped. Important of note is when they're walking around the apartment, we go into slight suspense horror mode. We see shadows moving around. One of them, I could not tell you which, picks up a statue and then gets attacked from behind.
That was a
And
Manwi.
then- okay. She takes said statue and bashes head of attacker, but then gets stunned herself, and then they both get themselves kidnapped.
Yeah, so it's at this point that I guess Ahsoka finds out about it, and she's all stressed out. So she asks Anakin to go to the council, and he's like, no, the council will never... No. It doesn't have anything to do with us. And she's like, okay, well, can I go? And he's like, yeah, sure, I don't give a fuck. Like, have fun.
And Padme's there, and she's questioning the whole thing. She's like, do you guys always just do stuff without permission of the council? And they're both like,
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
yes.
Also, we got I can never remember the inspector's name, but I love that guy. The one who looks like John Lovitz, and Steve Buscemi had a baby.
Yeah.
It is Lieutenant something or other.
Sure is.
How's that for some detailed notes?
Right. Yeah. So we get a scene with him when Papa Noida is leaving it to the local authorities to check on all of that business, that inspector is like, no, we're good. We're on top of all of this. And then Nemoida enters the apartment, does his own research, finds blood on said statue thingy.
Okay, that inspector was in there with like 4 cop bots, like just a whole bunch of detective robots. They walked around and like, we didn't find anything. Now I'm going to go do SNL. And he just leaves. And like, there's a bloody statue
on the middle of the table in the middle of the room.
Is it on the table or on the floor?
It's on the table right in the middle of the room.
Matters.
It's like on the coffee table.
Yeah, because the Rhodian attacker takes it from her and then gently sets it on the table. And the reason Papa Noida notices it is because it's supposed to be with the other, like, it's a goddess statue of some sort.
It's supposed to be up on the moon goddess, he said. It's supposed to be on the shrine.
Yes. So he notices it out of place, and then as he's about to put it down, he goes, hold on a second. That is not my actual impression of it.
It was dead on. Yeah, Pantora
Thank you.
Must be somewhere in New Zealand by the sound of them.
Yeah, all their accents, which I am definitely not going to attempt. I'm very bad at accents, and it's going to just get real bad real fast if I actually try and do an accent.
The one that stuck out to me is in the episode, the last time that we saw him on Orto Plutonia, Chuchi gave this rousing speech, and she kept saying, "Sacrifice. We're going to sacrifice. Make a sacrifice." That's all I got, though.
Oh, fun fact. That Inspector character, that's Tom Kenny. It's good old SpongeBob.
It is.
Very nice.
His name is Tanavos Exantor Devo, and he goes by Tan Devo. Yeah. And believe it or not, after I guess he retired from his inspectoring, he moved to Alderaan, and then,
got snuffed on
Alderaan. What happened to him.
I read that recently. What a dark, for such a light, goofy character. What a unnecessary thing to throw in there. He's like, now I'm going to retire to Alderaan, where nothing bad will ever happen to me ever again.
So I have the character encyclopedia of Star Wars Clone Wars, and these are the notes that they have on Tan Devo. There's a little arrow pointing to his head, and it says, his hairstyle shows that Devo is hardly a slave to fashion.
Wow, sick burn.
Right. Stripes on his sleeves indicate hard-earned rank. Multiple data pads full of reports. So, yeah. Mr. Boring Inspector Lieutenant Tan Devo. How about that?
I love that character.
Hard-working man.
What's the other
man?
episode
He
that
deserves
he's
his
in?
retirement.
He has a much more prominent role in a different episode, and I don't remember now.
I think this is the first time that we've seen him, so I'm sure that'll be in the future, and we'll have to dive into him a little more at that point.
Yeah.
But we got the blood on this statue, and Papa Noidia pulls out this little.
It's a magic scanner. Let's just
yeah.
It's just the complete criminal database blood scanner that he carries with him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
He doesn't physically take a sample, right? He just kind of waved it over the end of the statue.
Mm-hmm. And then he tells it what to do. It's information retrieval is what this thing is, and it's the same thing that Ahsoka used a few episodes back to
to de-scramble a hologram because we couldn't see somebody's face. It was in pitch black.
So she just waves it at him and is like, information retrieval. Tell me who this hologram is, and then it just reconstructs the entire.
Can it just
the entire bust in the hologram?
Can it just recognize any bodily fluids?
I guess sweat, even maybe
maybe.
Why would?
But I don't. Yeah, that's a very good question. And what happens if you accidentally sweat on the thing? I'm a sweaty guy, so when I pick it up, it's gonna be sweaty, and it's gonna be like, you did this. I'll be like, no, it wasn't me. I don't bleed green.
I got a lot of questions that I feel like are better left unasked.
Go ahead.
Nice.
I'm curious. Like, don't take it into a hotel room.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'm
which is
at
kind
here,
of essentially
like-
where they're at. And
Does it just ding for every like separate thing
Just
it's
scanning
finding?
like
Is that
your
what's
gross
happening?
motel bed, going, all right, whose loads is this? Like, I don't
that's
need that.
Loads Papalodia. Everybody knows
mean,
that.
I'm not gonna even lie. Like, I
That's-
wouldn't even have to bring it to a hotel to feel disgusted. Like, just bringing it to like a grocery store cart and like scanning over that. I'm like, no, I'm never touching this again.
Lorenzo likes to bring
Shopping
up
with my own bags.
Yeah, some
Lorenzo always brings the grocery store stories.
I used to work at a grocery store for 6 solid years, and it was not
yeah,
pleasant.
some things are just
shall we
better
say.
left unscanned.
Yes.
This is where the episode turns into just pulling out all your action figures.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
We find out via this magic scanner that that the perpetrator is one Greedo, and that he, I don't know, is based on Tatooine. So
By the way,
our crew's
like, that's a cool character. What would you say his name was? Greedo? I wish we had seen him in
Greedo.
something else another time.
I totally agree with
Yeah.
you.
But maybe in like a vest instead of a jacket. That would be cooler.
He does have a fly jacket on that looks very much like jackets we have seen elsewhere as well. I wonder if they're mass produced somewhere.
Like
Is there a galactic gap or something that all these people are shopping at? Is that
it's the Gaplactic?
Yeah. They-
yeah? That Gap
Yeah,
and Lactic
the Banana
together
Old
just
Republic.
sound.
Nice.
There we go. There we go.
That's what I was looking for. So
Abs-
all of our crew splits up at this point, and we've got Ahsoka and Chuchi headed off to the Trade Federation ship for some covert mission where Chuchi is pretending that she's going to join the Trade Federation, and then Papanodia and Ion head to Tatooine and report directly to Jabba's palace, where Papanodia's plan is to just walk up to a random table of Twi'leks and be like, "Hey, do you guys know Greedo?" And then he's like, "We'll just sit back. Greedo will come to
Don't
us."
worry, son. I have a cunning plan. Has anyone seen this guy?
Right. Help me. My daughters have been kidnapped.
So
Somebody help me.
it kind of works because one of the Twi'leks walks off, and then in a later scene, she's like, "Yo, Greedo, baby," and then they're making out, which is really
The
awkward.
most unbelievable thing about the entire episode.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
Right.
I like that.
Can we talk about the physics of the kiss though too? How Greedo's lips operate
Yeah.
as it kind of like his kind of just extend out, and I couldn't tell what hers were doing in reaction to it because they didn't quite match.
I
so
think
it's
they're
kind of
doing
like
something like this.
He's doing a hand gesture,
Yeah,
guys,
like, was
but
she
I don't want to tell
open
you
mouth?
what it was.
Yeah.
It was a wholly appropriate hand gesture, shall we say?
Can we talk about for a second how the two Nemoidians that are on the Nemoidian ship are the exact same character model, just like palette swapped?
They have different hats, and that's it.
Yeah, well, you know,
Uh,
they all
one
look the
has-
same. You know how it is.
One of them's got a little bit taller hat with some squiggly lines on it, and from what I understand, that is Sib Kane, and then the other one is not named, but he is referenced as unidentified Nemoidian envoy. That's it. He has more speaking lines than Sib does, and he has no name whatsoever.
He's just a repaint of the same action figure. I'm going to talk
I
about this
believe
whole
that is-
episode in terms of action figures.
I'm down.
That'll work.
That does not perplex me in the least. So, Lorenzo, pushing forward, what do we got? We're separated. We got Greedo making out. We got.
Let's see. So focus, so we split up. So let's kind of just focus on one for a hot second. Let's go to Ahsoka and Chuchi.
Yeah, and
Or is it?
Yep. real quick, in my notes, I abbreviated everybody's names, so this became Team Achu. So the Sneeze Gang.
Yeah.
And, I don't have anything for Papa Ion. So,
Yeah, Papa Ion's good.
that's Papayan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Papaya.
I don't know if you want to go like
So-
a Popeye route or look, not important. What were you saying about the Sneeze Gang?
Right. So Sneeze Gang, they're sneaking around basically. Ahsoka is brought in pretending to be Chuchi's servant of some sort, but basically as soon as they get shown to their rooms, they walk out and then they like enter like a meeting room area. As they're walking around, then the two Nemoidians walk in and they basically just say out loud the entire deal, which is like why do we have the woman kidnapped? What are we doing with her?
They're just giving the newsreel for this episode again.
Basically,
I know we
yeah,
both
they're
know
just
the plan, but why don't we say it out loud one more time just to be certain?
yeah. So the daughter is in your room, right? This is exactly where she is. Can you repeat one more time for confirmation? She is in your room. Great.
Chuchi
So-
is like taken aback by this plan, which
She
is
literally gasps and then kind of like she like clutches her pearl before realizing she gasps and then covers her mouth.
and they hear
Why is she surprised though?
she shouldn't be because Ahsoka has already been like, yo, I'm pretty sure they fucking kidnapped her, so let's
Right.
head to the ship and find
That's
out where
why-
she's kidnapped because I think that she's there.
That's why they did all this.
Right. And then so for her to hear that and go like a gasp. Say what?
I'm going to go to McDonald's and when somebody's like, I'll take a cheeseburger, I'm going to be like, you have cheeseburgers?
That would be like, it'd be like if that great scene in Jurassic Park where like they see the Brachiosaurus in the beginning and they're all losing their shit. That would be like if before they got to the island, Hammond was like, "Oh, by the way, I've made a shit ton of dinosaurs. You're gonna lose your mind." And then they get there and it plays out exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like you knew why you came
It's
here.
like, dude, he told you. That's literally what he told you. Like in that shitty trailer at the beginning of the movie.
Yep. Very much so.
Yeah. So there's this little scene where, because of her gasp, one of the Nemoidians hears her and then freaks out and is like, "What is that?" And then starts looking around. They were under the table. They look under the table and they're not there anymore. They start heading behind the door or behind like a buttress.
A
Thing.
buttress.
I just wanted him to keep
I don't
looking
know what-
more places and see where they would hide her each
Right.
time.
Might as well have been a curtain.
Yeah. So they kept moving around, and then it gets to the point where like Ahsoka is like spider sprawled out towards the
I wish they
ceiling,
had
and then she has
milked
to
it
force
more.
lift up.
You know, like I wish she had to like pull on like Nemoidian robes and do that mirror bit from the Marx Brothers where they both walk past an opening,
Right.
but he thinks it's a mirror and it's not sure, and she has to copy what he's doing.
Yeah.
But they're both short, so they had to stack on top of each
Perfect,
other.
even better.
And then
Right.
Chi-Chu is
Where
like,
one of them
you're
is
heavy
just
for a
playing the
little
hat."
for a little girl. Well, Ahsoka would be on top, and she would just like pretend that her Togruta
Her are the is the hat.
Montreals are the hat. I'm liking
Yeah.
this.
No, that'd be good. Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like
But,
that is what happened in this episode.
I am too. We're gonna make this episode a little better, a little at a time. Not that it was bad.
A little bit at a time. Oh yeah.
We will get
No,
to
just
that.
more Marx Brothers references is always welcome. We could have had a good old like Buster Keaton scene, you know.
Oh sure, have the wall fall off of something and the person goes right through the window space. Yeah,
The one open window. Yep. That's what I
Good
need
stuff.
out of my Star Wars universe.
Well done. So Ahsoka
yeah.
kind of saves the day because when this Nemoidian peeks behind the curtain, Chuchi is gone. And what happened is that Ahsoka like lifted her up with the Force, but she's like grunting and groaning, so they heard Chuchi gasp, but they don't hear Ahsoka making all the Force noises. And then the dude turns around and he's probably about eye level with her, doesn't seem to see her, and they're like, well, now that we have discussed our plan, there's nothing left to do in this room, so let's, I don't know, go into the other room. They decide
Why
at that
did they
point,
go in that room?
well that's the That's the plan recap
Aren't there
room.
other rooms to talk about this stuff? Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, this entire area is the ambassador's office. So it's Sib Kanay's office, like this whole thing, which is why there's like a teacher's desk and like a giant conference table. Where did the guy that was at the desk go? Because when they first walk into the room, Ahsoka uses the Force to like jingle some fake flowers or something, and this desk clerk gets up and goes and just stares at them so they can run behind him over to hide under a table, but then that guy disappears. It's a whole bunch of shenanigans that really don't lead anywhere except for Ahsoka to be like, let's go look in the detention area. Like, I thought she was being held prisoner here, but I didn't think to look in the detention area. So she goes there, and then there's this joke about using the Jedi mind trick, because there's like one guard, and he's like, no one's allowed in here. You're not Nemoidian, why are you on this ship? And Ahsoka's like, I've never done this before, but let me try it. And she's like, oh, you're going to let me pass? And he's like, I'll let you pass. So she walks by, but then he stops. Chuchi, like, haha, it worked.
Biggest laugh of the episode. He steps right back into the same spot where he was. How crazy is that?
It just repeats that same line.
Like, she didn't
you know?
say to let both of us go, just herself. Womp womp.
Wah, wah, wah.
Was that a
what are
real
we gonna
trombone?
do?
That was so good.
It might have been. I used to play the trombone in the future after I learned how to play it.
I believe that.
Kevin was also a potential alternate for the sound effects guy in Police Academy.
Oh, Michael Winslow.
There's another reference that young listeners will possibly not understand.
Yeah.
That was Winslow,
Michael
right?
Winslow.
Is that Winslow? Michael
I like
Winslow.
the people at home don't know that was a real trombone because they can't see it.
That's
We're
true.
really making a meal out of this whole "you can't see what we're doing" bit, which is like
We are playing to the strengths of our
amateur
medium,
hour.
all right?
Like we should have abandoned that before we started it, but now we're locked in. We have to do it. I'm gonna.
Gotta go.
we've
Gotta double down and keep on trucking.
we've gone this far. So
Speaking of going this far, Lorenzo.
So then Ahsoka turns around. Ahsoka gets pretty far, I must note, before she realizes that Chuchi is not following her. Chuchi, I don't even think she would have noticed unless Chuchi goes, hey, Ahsoka, over here.
Chuchi's just like an anchor, and this is a dumb gag, and the gags don't necessarily get better because this whole time we're cutting back and forth between the Sneeze Gang and Papa Noodles and his son Ion, and every time we cut back to the Sneeze Gang, they're like, oh, maybe we'll check over here, and can't you just use your Jedi powers to sense where she is?
That's not how
And
the
at one
Force
point,
works.
Ahsoka's like, that's not how the Force works. At one point in time, Ahsoka is like, this is the 5th place we've checked. And then Chuchi's like, try that door. So either A, they're just wandering around checking random doors, or B, they've been checking every door along the way, and this is like the 5th hallway that they've gotten to. Neither of which is a good plan.
So I watched this episode about a week ago, and then I watched it
Okay.
again immediately before recording this. And I do not remember any of what happened in this part we're talking about now.
That's fair enough.
Like,
I do not...
I remember they must have gotten to whatever room she was in, and then I think there was like a nothing fight with some super destroyer droids.
Mm-hmm. They did find her.
That's basically it. Yeah.
And she's like, how did you find me? And they're like, I don't know, it's a long story, luck. And then they do have to fight the super battle droids, and then both of the Nemoidians are back. And then one of them is like, he did it, and the other one's like, I didn't know anything about it. And Chuchi is like, look, you're both in on this, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to pretend like you turned him in, and then you're going to go to the Senate, and yada, 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 and everybody will be happy because you'll get in trouble, and you'll get this blockade off my planet, and end of that storyline. You know, we don't have to bring Jar Jar in to run around, but we might as well have, because that probably would have been more entertaining. So that's the end of our plot B, and then over on our plot A, after Greedo's done with his makeout session, whatever,
Session.
he comes up to Papa Noidia and Ion and is like, "Oh, are you looking for me?" And I don't even know how it happens, but he tries to like take them captive
yeah, for some reason. Papa
reason.
Noida is like really great at fighting. Like he pulls out a knife and he's like, "Here's my plan. All these guys have guns. I'm going to take this knife and I'm going to hold it to Greedo's throat, even though everyone else still has guns."
Bringing a knife
Good
to the
plan.
gunfight.
It's a strong plan.
He literally brings a knife to the
I like
gunfight. And then, like, it's not even an even standoff because he's got Greedo, the other guy has his son, and then the third guy's just standing there with a gun going, "What are you doing?"
Do you believe this guy with his vibroblade over here?
I'll tell you this, though. This episode's got I never know if you should say Gotal or Gotal, but it's got one of those guys.
I think it's Gotal.
Gotal? I've always, yeah.
And I believe that his name in this episode is
we've always said Godel.
Yeah. Well, there's a Gotal, and I like those guys.
Yeah, they're nice. I like the way they
Yeah,
talk.
it's subtle, because they're called Godals. You're called Godals. They have like a goat voice.
They sound like a goat. You get it?
But yeah, no,
We gotta.
I don't think all of the old like 70s mask aliens translate well to the Clone Wars animated look, but the Godel looks great in this style.
I agree with you. Like, we also have a character called Brainy in this episode, and it's the guy with a brain for the top of his head. He's playing, I don't know if what Greedo was playing, if it was craps or something.
They were rolling those.
They're rolling like 3 chance cubes.
Yeah, which is a pointless if there's only blue or red on it, and it looks like it's 3 blue squares and 3 red squares on that one.
Correct.
Why not just flip coins?
Right.
Why are you
Good
bringing
point.
extra sides into it? That's just neither here nor there. But
Well, like, are you betting on like how many are red? Like more red, more blue?
whatever it is, it can't be a good
Like-
game.
I know that there is like a 3 dice game that you can play in like back alleys
CeeLo.
and such. One more
CeeLo.
time? Yeah,
but that
CeeLo.
that actually relies on numbers.
Right.
So you wanna
exactly. And I just
No, sorry, I'm not gonna. I don't need to explain the rules of CeeLo right now.
I'm interested.
It's a fun game, and if I remember it correctly, what you do is if you get 4, 5, 6, you win automatically. If you get 1, 2, 3, you lose automatically, and but most commonly, what you'll do is you'll get a pair, and whatever the third die is your score. So you keep rolling until you get a pair in 1 or 4, 5, 6 or 1, 2, 3, and whoever has the higher third die wins that hand.
Right. That sounds correct. This doesn't work with 2 colored die or with coins. So I don't know what the heck they're doing, and that's really neither here nor there. But
Yeah.
after Papa Noidia pulls his knife, somehow he gets the upper hand. I don't really
It's a lot of
know,
hot
but
nonsense.
what he says is we're going to go talk to Jabba, which is interesting because when they first get there, Ion's like, why don't we go talk to Jabba? And he's like, no, son. Like, we don't know what's going on. We're going to figure this out. Then they go through this big rigmarole. Then they go before Jabba, who's got his son Rhoda.
Stinky.
Stinky eats a stink bug at one point in time, and that's kind of nice. But
That thing with Jabba is
go
like
ahead.
in the old Batman comics. Where, you know, like Joker would like commit a couple of crimes that would be in the newspaper, and Robin would be like, "Gee, Bruce, don't you think we should investigate this?" And like for no reason, Bruce Wayne with his pipe would just be like, "Not yet, Robin. The time's not yet ripe." And just like let a few more crimes happen because the comic had to be a certain length, and he'd be like, now is the time to act." And they're like, "Well, why? Nothing has changed." It's the same as, like, he could have just gone straight to Jabba, especially since at the end of the episode it's revealed that they are friends.
Right.
Is that what that is? Or I thought he was like trying to be, like chummy, like, hey, old pal.
No, because
even
he's
though
like,
we've never
yeah,
met.
as a father, I know that you understand, how it, like if something ever happened to your kid, you'd feel so bad. And Jabba's like, yeah, that's one of my core defining character traits. Yes. And then he's like, and since we're friends, I know that you would never betray me. So he must be working for someone else. And Jabba doesn't argue with that either. He's like, yep, my friend Senator Papanoida, who I let into my house.
That I didn't even know was here, and he was afraid to come and talk
Yeah,
to me.
what kind
Right.
of like children's show? Keep forgetting.
It's not a very firm thread throughout this episode.
No, this one's pretty loose.
So
This is one of those bucket of toys episodes where they're just like, what characters do we have?
I think what it is like Lucas home videos. That I'll bring this up later. Remind me, please.
Home videos.
Okay.
Lucas home videos.
Home videos.
So Papanoida threatens to use like the magic sensor scanner on Greedo, and Jabba's like, sure, take his blood. And then Greedo's like, no, don't take my blood. I admit it was me. And it really annoys me that he speaks basic and not
Yes. Yeah.
not
I wanted to
Rodian or
talk about
Huddies or whatever.
But the actor who does Greedo's voice in this does, for what it's worth, sound like Greedo in A New Hope.
It's Tom Kenny,
I
isn't
don't
it?
know. But
I
the
think it is.
voice he does
Oh, I
sounds
didn't
close
even look
enough
that
to
up, yeah.
Greedo's voice. It just he's speaking basic.
Speaking basic.
Right.
But I agree, yeah. He definitely sounds a lot like A New Hope, and I was pleased by that. But I do agree, it was really weird hearing basic coming in and out of this dude. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't like that at all.
I almost think that he's not
So-
But then-
actually speaking basic. He's just it's translated for us, the audience.
It's just... Right.
But then why do you have
I know,
Jabba
it's-
speaking Huddies?
I can only say hot
There-
nonsense
that-
so many times in one episode.
I know.
It's shenanigans.
It's
I'm-
well, I
I'm
call
glad we
it.
gave you a good episode to review, by the way.
Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't preview this one before I reached out to you. This is an example for me of Filoni baloney, and like you either have. Come on, Greedo doesn't speak basic, right? He doesn't shoot first. No, he does shoot first. He doesn't shoot first.
I think
Depends on which version of the episode you watch. But, yeah, I'm calling Filoni baloney on this basic Greedo-speaking persona. And he's kind of a wuss because he gives up, like, immediately with a knife to his throat. And then maybe he's afraid of, like, bleeding or being cut or something. Because the knife, like, he's like, oh, I give up. I give up. And then...
very
later
But,
when
like, he already got bashed in the head, and so his blood... Like, he got hit hard enough that his blood was left
Also,
behind
the like
on
getting more
a
of his
statue.
blood thing. Like, why is that even necessary at this point? Like, that was the thing that it's just like anything that leads. Everywhere that these people go in this episode, once they get there, they forget why they're there or how they got there, and then they have to do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
I agree. I think otherwise this
Or-
episode would be like 4 minutes long.
It's very fan servicey too. Like this one is just. It's like when I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's George Lucas and his family. Oh, and Greedo.
Yep.
Oh, and we're doing Jabba the Hutt. It's just all.
All of
Playing
them.
all the
All of
hits.
them at once. Can we also discuss Papanoida's Orson Welles voice?
Sure.
And how weird it was to see that face but not hear George Lucas's.
I think it totally
Assimilation of a
should have
voice.
been. I think they should have got George
I wouldn't
Lucas
be able.
for this
I
episode.
would not be able to take that episode seriously. Like, oh.
Well, Java, we're friends.
Well, I was looking at this statue and I saw some green blood on it, and it reminded me that there's an alien named Greedo who is also green, and I
Also-
figured that they probably came
I'm-
from the same
I'm
person.
actually very good at
So-
knife fights, so watch out. I got ooh. Gotcha.
See, already this episode would have been so much better with that voice instead
That's what I'm saying.
of Orson Welles.
Let's close out the plot on this thing. What
I
happens?
don't know.
Right. So
there's a
where are we
gunfight.
at? So Greedo did it, knife fight. Greedo runs away, but family was reunited. We get back to the Senate, and basically everything that Chuchi told Nemoidian to do, he does. He's like, yeah, like, you know, we were betrayed from within, and blah blah blah. And
Yeah,
so
he
we're all
blames
glad the family.
Newt Gunray. He was like, we
Right.
got a bad
Newt.
seed. It was this Sid
was all
Cadet
Newt.
guy, and the reach of Newt Gunray is much more broad than we had thought. So my bad. We returned the kids, and we're leaving the planet. We're gonna open up trade
And
because
we see the family
it's
hugging.
It's a very,
and then
it's a
yeah,
very
the
kind of Trump sort of move to like take credit for ending a problem that you started.
Right. Definitely. Oh yeah.
Like,
That's
like
can't
look what
argue
great
with that.
guys we are. We're going to end this blockade. That wasn't even us. It was somebody
we're
else who
getting out
did
of
it.
whoops.
like, yeah.
So we end on a Lucas family hug, and Iris in and
Very
cue
nice.
loud music. So
Yeah.
that's the end of that
Yes,
one.
see, we were talking about before we start evaluating what we thought about this thing. We're talking about how some of the old alien designs translate better to the Clone Wars style than others. I always feel like the Weequays look real weird. Yeah.
On the show. Yeah, I like the live action Weequays looked like dirty and like leprosy and like skin hanging off of them, and these are more like
And
reptilian
always, like,
Yeah. Scaly.
and
just
scaly,
emaciated,
which
all of
doesn't
them.
because they're all like the same character model with different clothes, and some have
Right.
some have boobs and some don't, and eye patches and bandanas and
Yeah,
other such
They
things.
all have
Goggles.
generic pirate accoutrement.
Right.
And anytime
Yeah.
I know how stupid this is going to sound, but it almost feels racist the way they're always the criminals. Like,
because they're
yeah, like
pirate
I feel
people?
uncomfortable almost with the amount of being the bad guys that this species always is.
Is that why Hondo is like kind of a bad guy, but like a diamond in the ruffian or something, and he's got like some redeeming qualities, questionably or something?
Yeah,
I'm not
he's
really sure.
he's a good character because he's not. You aren't sure is the thing. That's why like so much in
Right.
Star Wars is so spelled out for you. Like this is the good guy, this is the bad guy, this is how you're supposed to feel about this character. Except for Hondo and Watto.
Okay.
Because imagine the Phantom Menace is a Disney movie, right? Like an animated Disney movie, and the kid who's supposed to be the main character is owned by some junk shop guy.
Okay.
That slave owner is going to be like the shittiest, like, like always getting the boot in whenever he can and really like kicking that kid around and just being the worst. And that way, when he gets freed, you feel so happy. But like when Qui-Gon scams Watto and then Watto loses everything, you feel bad because Watto was funny. He was a little blue guy.
I lost everything.
Yeah, like Mrs. Watto's not putting out anymore. Like he's ruined.
Right.
I'm going to interject there. We have speculated that this whole like conceived of the Force nonsense with Anakin is just a cover story for the fact that Mrs. Watto is actually Shmi Skywalker,
Yes.
and that Watto is Anakin's father.
I'm on board. I like forget that. I love the idea that if you watch just A New Hope and have never seen any of the other movies, until Obi-Wan disappears with the Force, you could just assume that Obi-Wan is really drunk the whole time, and the Force isn't real.
Nice.
Like, no, Luke, you can't. No, I have this serious destiny for you. Come, we're gonna find it at this bar. Come with me to Alderaan, Luke.
Like he's just trying to
start. He's recounting like, old war stories.
He's just this
and
drunk
he's like,
old man
this.
who cuts a guy's fucking arm off in the bar.
So is he just trying to scam Luke to like get to
He's
like
just
bar
a
hop?
dangerous old drunk with delusions of grandeur. And like
Nice.
the fact that things line up at all is purely accidental.
Like, oh shit! I didn't think that was going to work.
Like, all right, check it out. I met this guy's dog. The dog says the guy has a really fast truck. That he's gonna take us to space. Luke.
He's gonna let us ride in the back to the liquor store, but I can't go to the one here because my tab is too big. I mean, it's an evil
shit, it's
guy,
the cops.
and we don't want to get messed up with the evil guy.
I do like this redneck version of Star Wars. I really need a pickup truck version of. Like, so then in this version, are they like
No.
AKs out
This
the
is
back
just
when they start
regular
getting
Star
attacked?
Wars. You could choose to watch the first movie this way. I'd say up until the point where Obi-Wan actually disappears.
So I'm thinking that the reason he doesn't recognize R2 is that he just thinks it's like a keg, and he's like, I've drunk so many kegs of beer that like I don't remember owning.
I don't
a keg
remember
of beer.
owning the droid. We take that line to be coy, I guess, but he just doesn't remember.
Right.
Because he's drunk.
The first time you see him, he's stumbling lost around the desert in a bathrobe. Literally stumbling with his hood down over his face because he can't see. He's drunk.
And he's screaming nonsense.
He's making that weird roar.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I
I
don't
think
know.
there was we were talking about the Phantom Menace on Pandora and the Lucas family.
Oh, yeah, because so
I
Hondo
think.
is accidentally a really good character because you can't...
Oh, Hondo.
There it
right.
is.
Yeah,
Right.
there we go.
Because Watto is also... We really went off the rails there. Yeah, Hondo's a really good character because you don't 100% know how to feel about him, and that's this show treating you like an adult, like someone who can think. Unlike this episode, where they assume
Yes.
that no one is thinking and you're just watching things happen for 20 minutes.
And getting re-explained to you 3
Yeah.
minutes after they happen.
They had about, like you
Basically.
said, they had about 4 minutes worth of plot that they stretched out 6 times its runtime.
Yep. That being said, let's and you may know where our votes are going to lie on this, but let's execute or save this thing and thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you guys think?
Ralph, I'll let you go
Oh,
first.
we have to say it, don't we?
Thumbs
Because
up.
they can't see. Man, that's you really tricked me again, you guys.
See, we need that visual descriptor audio mode
At this
going.
point, Ralph
That's what we
smiles
need.
broadly.
Ralph,
and-
where's your dad at?
So that's my son. Hi, Ralph. He can't hear me probably. All right, he's smiling. His hair's blue now. Where did I go wrong? Oh, he's doing a thumbs up sign. There he is. I guess he liked it, even though he made fun of it. All right, that's me. I'm going to bed. Yeah,
you
why
give this
not?
one a
It was-
thumbs up.
Look, if it's just a purely like 51% is thumbs up, 49% is thumbs down, then thumbs up. It's more better than badder. I mean, I watched it twice.
Okay.
I didn't hate watching it twice. I think it skates by on nostalgia. It's certainly not as good as like Bombad Jedi.
Ooh, Bombad Jedi.
I think I do remember giving that
Oh,
one a
man.
random thumbs up,
But
but I could be wrong.
I'm looking it up
Kevin
now.
keeps track. Kevin keeps track.
For
He's
the
looking
episode
it up.
with the most Jar Jar.
So, Lorenzo, what'd you give this one?
This one, I am actually in agreement
That's me.
with Ralph. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, it's not a great episode, but it was silly enough, and it flowed enough, and it just was it moved along well enough for me to be like, yeah, it was fine. Like, it's a fine, fun episode. I didn't hate this one. Like, there was nothing about it, as much fun as we've been poking at it. Like, there's nothing that really upset me. Yeah, I'm like at that 51% means thumbs up mode. Like, that's a good way to
if
put it.
If it was like 2% worse, it would have been a thumbs down.
Yeah,
I agree with both of you guys. I'm gonna solidify this one a 3-way thumbs upper. Nice. For the record, Bombad Jedi was a double thumbs down. So we might have to go back and relook at that one. But so what did it for me is that, one, even though it's a bunch of nonsense, this episode does run by pretty quickly. And earlier when I said that I think it's George Lucas home movies, I can imagine George Lucas sitting at home, and you know how dads like make up stories but like put their kids in them? This is the story that he told about fighting a goat in a bar with a knife and a frog guy and a space slug, and the princesses were captured, and Ion and Papa Nerdia had to go and rescue them at the beach or whatever, and then like the sneeze crew is just kind of nonsense.
Dad, was one of the princesses me?
It was. It's Chu Amanda, because basically
that's you, Amanda.
They might have been. That's how I could tell these two apart, is that Amanwi is Amanda Lucas, his daughter, and then the other one should have been like TK or something.
Right, is Katie Lucas. And she was one of the writers on the episode.
She is.
Yes.
So, and that's what took it to the next level. I'm like, okay, Katie Lucas just like retold this story that their dad told them when they were growing up about, taking the Lucas family and placing it in Star Wars. And they filmed a little home video with the goat in the backyard eating the grass at Skywalker Ranch or whatever. And this is what we got. So when you look at it like that, like, this is a fucking good one.
Yeah.
So that's my defense.
Which is funny that you guys are putting it in that perspective, because do either of you guys follow prequel memes on Reddit at all?
Oh, prequel memes. No.
Prequel memes. Because there was
only to the extent that you
I send you shit.
Start forwarding them to me as well from now on.
Because there was like I definitely will. Because there was a string of memes where there was like a trivia tidbit that you start reading it and it makes sense, where it's like, oh, like when Natalie Portman and Hayden Christensen were like sitting at whatever, like that laughter is real, like George Lucas just happened to have the cameras going. And then over the course of a week, it just became this thing where it's like, hey, like Jake Lloyd was actually a slave, and like that wasn't planned in the script, and George Lucas just happened to have the cameras rolling, and that's how they captured that.
Yikes.
So it's just, all home videos. Phantom Menace is just one giant home video that he just happened to have the cameras rolling.
Aluminum Matafa.
You can't see it right now, but the guy Kevin, he did a big shrug face. This is Ralph's dad. I'm out.
Ralph's dad is back. Thanks, Ralph's dad. We
Ralph.
appreciate it.
Same name.
Oh, this is gonna get confusing. This is like when Kevin had his friend Kevin on the show, and it was Lorenzo, Kevin, and Kevin.
Right. And I definitely carefully had to be like, so Kevin W.
Yeah.
Kevin H.
Kevin was also my first roommate, so that was back when there was a phone that was attached to the wall that had like a cord on it, right? And people could just call your house. Like, I didn't have a phone number. My apartment had a phone number, right? And so the apartment would ring, and you'd pick it up, and they'd go, "Is Kevin there?" And you'd be like, "Yes, but
possibly."
Who?
Yeah,
that was, man. Can you remember how hard it was to like? I don't remember how we planned to meet people before cell phones.
Oh, right. No, you set plans
Right,
and
like,
you
I
fucking
cannot-
stuck to them. And
I
if you
cannot
didn't,
remember
you were an
how that
asshole.
was done anymore.
Like, can you remember just trying to meet somebody at the fucking mall and just knowing, hey, mall in front of Sears,
Yeah.
6:00.
See, I was one of those people that just hung out at the mall.
Yeah, mall rat, full mall rat.
I was for a brief period of time. I carried my cup around and filled it up at the Taco Bell because their soda machine faced like the outside.
Right, the full refill system.
And you gotta have like something opaque. It can't be clear because you're like, I'm just getting water, and you wait for somebody else to get soda because otherwise it's like, and they're like, you just took my fucking soda. I need my 38 cents or whatever. Yeah. So that.
But yeah, no,
I
like,
didn't have to like call people and be like, hey, I'm gonna be at the mall, because guess what? I was at the mall.
yeah, you just meet people and you would hope that you guys would spot each other, or there's like that 10 minutes where you guys are both just sitting facing opposite directions, like in like the seating area, like the rest area for like tired people who are just sitting there, you know?
Like before they had massage chairs, and it was just like
yeah,
a
before the
bench.
massage chairs took over. Yeah, just like the random chairs that would just be strewn about.
It's like
like-
outside gadzooks because people that had driver's licenses didn't want to go in there or whatever, buy their t-shirts.
Wow, this is
Side note, they only when I was hanging out at the mall, Gadzooks only sold large and extra large shirts. And I was not that size at the time, and I was like, I'm never fucking shopping here because I'm never going to wear like a large or an extra large. Now I wish that Gadzooks was still in business so I can find some
Of
shirts.
us all.
It does.
Hey,
Yes,
around when do we think this episode's going to come out? Can I plug a thing?
Yeah, plug a
Yeah,
thing.
if you guys are listening.
Plug away.
All right,
a couple
that's
of weeks
perfect.
from now.
This is February 20th. It's coming out today, Ralph, for recording.
We've been live.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know
live
that
on
was
air.
how we
We've
were
been
doing
live
it.
the entire time.
Cool.
So thank your dad.
That was my
for-
real
for
dad
being
here the whole
live
time.
This day, February 20th,
Yeah,
2019.
but if that's the case, March 10th is a real exciting thing coming up. We got Buddy versus Duff coming out on Food Network, which is
I have
yeah.
seen some things about this, and this looks exciting. I'm gonna have to find a way to
It's also
to
on the
watch
Food
this
Network app.
because I don't pay for channels.
so I don't know if that
Oh,
costs
wonderful.
money, but yeah, no. So my boss, Buddy, the cake boss, and myself are going up against Duff from Ace of Cakes and his number two,
Nice.
Jeff, and going to see who is the most good at doing cakes. Thankfully,
I think we know who's going to triumph here.
it's me. I'm
Ralph.
the dark horse candidate on this one.
I think.
Please have your dad narrating that episode.
Oh, this is going to be
But yeah,
great.
I'm really excited to see
What
it.
are you
I
doing
actually,
over
I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I had actually seen that was the thing that was happening, and I wanted to
Oh, thanks,
congratulate you and throw my hat in the ring for my support in your direction, because I think that's really awesome. Speaking of which, it's been 9 years since
That's
you
right.
joined the
That was,
team
yeah,
over there,
just a
right?
couple of days ago.
Oh,
That's
nice.
been a long time. I was
So
25.
okay, I was gonna say you look like a young man, and having already worked at one location for 9 years, I wouldn't have pegged you for having been old enough to do that unless you would have been like a young pup starting
So,
as
yeah, I
like an
started there when I
apprentice
was
or
25.
something.
I'm 34 now. I had such thick hair
Okay.
back
Do you-
then.
I saw that you had some big
It was
old
a real
chops
mess.
too, right?
There were a lot of things that I did then that I thought were good.
You know, that tends to happen to us as we get older. Lorenzo's a
Yeah.
little bit younger than you and I are, so
Not by much, but
you know.
I'm just a few years younger. That's all. No, because like even for me, like Kevin and I were talking about my college years briefly right before you got on the line, but I can think of a few pictures where, like, even just from college, I'm like, why is that the hair I went with? Like that wasn't that long ago, but it really was.
It's great when you have kids,
No.
right? Ralph, do you have any kids?
No.
Right.
Okay. So I have 2 kids. I have 2 daughters. One is 16 and one is 7 months old.
Congrats.
And my 16-year-old, like, thank you, will occasionally see pictures from when she was like, 6, 7, 8 or whatever. And she's like, why would you let me wear that? I can't, those shoes or that shirt. And we're like, let you. Like, you would insist, like, every day. And it's great seeing yourself, 10 years removed from something. And, at the time you think you're pretty hip or whatever. And, maybe your opinions change, maybe they don't. But getting back to this, and one more time, congratulations on...
Definitely.
So is that's a thing that's already been recorded, right?
Oh man, I don't remember how we were supposed to play this. If we're supposed to say that like it's happening or it's been recorded, we already recorded it. I don't know who won, so
okay. That was going to be my next question. Is if you are privy to
no, and I couldn't.
the outcome.
I certainly couldn't spill it
I wasn't
here
gonna ask
a
you what
month
it was.
before it airs.
Right. Of course.
Quite the scoop.
But do you got anything else you want to plug? Anything else you're working on, or
that's really it. If you want to find me online, you
Or
can find me at
for
Cake
sure.
Boss Ralph on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, that's it. And here, listen to this show, this episode right now.
Yeah, live as we speak on
Breaking
February
new
20th,
ground, plugging
2019.
the episode I'm currently on.
That's
Hey,
That's the
before
way that
we
I would
wrap
do
this
it.
up, you guys want to
Promotions,
hear
yeah,
a Star
man.
Wars joke I know? Yeah. Do you know
I
what the
do.
temperature inside a
Please, yeah.
tauntaun is? Lukewarm.
No. What is it?
Yeah, it's very
damn
bad, isn't it?
Very nice. Very nice.
No, that's good. I'm like, fuck, I should know this. And I did after you told me,
Yeah,
but I did
that's
not
the
before
worst
you told
feeling.
me. I'm going to use that tomorrow. I'm going to slip that into casual conversation. It's been a little chilly around the office lately, raining and whatnot, so I'm going to be like, hey, you know what temperature it is inside a tauntaun? By the way, I work with my wife, so she's going to just like facepalm and be like, you're such a nerd. I don't even know why I talk to you. But yeah, Lorenzo, where can people find this episode?
If you want to contact us, you can reach us on email, the old-fashioned way, notthenerdspodcast@gmail.com. Also Twitter @notthenerds, Facebook @notthenerds_podcast. As always, we want to give a shout-out to Lindsay, who put together the jingle at the beginning and end of the episode. You can reach her at strangefantasymusic@gmail.com. And Kevin Warren, the other Kevin, he's the one who put together our cover art. He's at They Call Me K-Dub on Twitter.
And we definitely want to thank Ralph for taking some
Definitely.
time out of his night to sit down and
your father.
Dad.
yeah, and your dad.
Dad,
Both the
Ralph
Ralphs.
Jr. I'm just sad that Ralph the First is no longer with us. He would have loved to have been a part of this. Yeah.
Let's take a
Could've
moment
had-
of silence
Had
for
all three of
Ralph
us.
the
Grandpa
First.
Ralph. Oh wait, you said a moment of what? I was talking.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
Hmm.
Oh.
it's over.
The moment's passed.
the moment is
We're all
gone.
good.
But anyway,
So
next
bad.
week we've got an episode called Evil Plans. We're jumping forward about 4 episodes release-wise, staying to the chronology. So we're going from Season 3, Episode 4 to Season 3, Episode 8.
Where
for
I'll be
Evil
back
Plans.
as the guest.
And,
That's probably not
all
true.
right.
Yeah.
You heard it today.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
We'll talk off mic. What are you doing in
Off mic.
1 week from
I
today?
actually can't do that. So sorry.
So anyway,
How
in the
quickly you turn
meantime,
on us. How quickly you turn.
Now he's doing a face like he's smiling to be
Anyways.
polite, but he's a little angry. He wants to keep the episode moving, maybe wrap it up. I don't know.
nope, definitely not angry. That was more of the face of, I don't know if I'm supposed to continue trying to end this or if we're
No,
just going
go,
to keep
go ahead.
rolling
It's,
and talking.
it's my bedtime.
Close it out. Close it. Right.
We're keeping Ralph
Sorry,
up late,
I
so
apologize for
we're gonna
that.
cut
I've
out of
used
here.
so frequently this episode.
No.
Oh,
No, it's
you have
good.
nothing to apologize
take it
for.
back.
It has been an honor to have you on, and it's been a lot of fun. So, maybe in the future sometime you can come back on. Might not be next week, but we'll look down the pipe. So, looking forward to that. Until then, I've been Kevin.
Lorenzo.
And I'm Ralph.
These are the nerds you're looking for.
Bye-bye.